Hello, yeah, welcome to another episode of Voice on Ben Television. My name is Tunde Alabi. On the show, we take a look at different phases of law, ranging from working in the UK, studying in the UK, living in the UK, doing business in the UK. I mean, when it comes to law in the UK, property law, investment law, criminal law, all manner of law, this is where you can get what it takes to know how to live within the scope of the law here in the UK. Of course, every society has its own law, and people are expected to live within the scope of the law. And that's what we do here on Voice. We bring to you professionals, lawyers, solicitors who are experts in all these areas, and that is what we're going to be doing today. And on the show with me today, I've got brilliant solicitors who have always done this job. They've been in this job of law and stuff like that for a long time. Today we'll be taking a look at criminal law. They are here to tell us what constitutes criminal law, criminal offense. How can you commit what in their own term know as a criminal offense, and if you do commit one, what kind of help can you get? Where can you get this help from, and what do you need to do? Quite a number of things we do not know that they are against the law. And that's why we've got these professionals here in the house today, and they'll be taking a look at criminal law. What constitutes criminal offense? I've got in the studio with me. First, I've got Anita Kailason from Nicholas Solicitor. Anika, yeah, welcome to Voice on Ben TV.
Hello.
And Chima.
Yes.
Chima is also of Nicholas Solicitors. Chima Nandi, you are welcome to Voice on Ben TV.
Thank you very much. Thank you for saying brilliant solicitor as well.
Of course, I know you guys are brilliant. So let me start with Chima.
Yes.
Chima Deshe, what is a criminal law or a criminal offense? Do we start that way?
The question you ask is quite wide in scope. You see what I'm saying? What constitutes a criminal offence? I mean, lots of things constitute a criminal offence. I think the best way to answer your question would be to use examples.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Of different offences.
Okay.
I think the best example I can come up with now at this stage would be possession of an offensive weapon, basically.
Offensive weapon. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, in regards to possession of an offensive weapon, they have to establish several things. Yeah. The first part is possession. Do you understand?
Yep.
Yeah, possession. And the second part is as to whether it's a weapon or not.
Okay.
Do you see it? And the law, if you help me out with this, there's four elements, isn't it, really? First element is the weapon adapted?
Made or adapted.
Made or adapted to cause injury. That's one. Is the weapon by itself an offensive weapon? Let's say, for example, a weapon by itself can be an offensive weapon. Let's say what do you call it? A truncheon, for example.
Yeah.
That by itself, it speaks of itself and says, yes, I'm an offensive weapon, because
Okay.
there's only one use for a truncheon. That's to bash people over the head, basically, isn't it? In
Yeah.
essence. Or thirdly, whether the person had the intention to use that instrument
Okay.
to cause injury.
Okay.
And that instrument could be anything. It could be a chair leg, it could be a toaster even, as long as there was an intention to cause injury, if you see what I'm saying.
So that becomes a weapon.
Yeah, it becomes an offensive weapon, if you see what I'm saying. And it is taken very, very seriously, that offence, in essence.
So, for instance, if I just lift up my table and
Yes.
I decide to use that to hit you, that becomes an offensive weapon.
I would like that,
Absolutely.
though.
No, let me come to Anita.
Yes.
If anybody decides to just pick, for instance, I pick up a flower vase, now I decide to hit it with that flower vase.
I mean, a flower vase in itself is just an object, but if
Yeah.
you decide to pick it up and you decide to if your intention is to cause injury, yes, then yes, it can become an offensive weapon.
So that becomes a criminal
Yeah.
offense.
It does, yeah.
What about possession of a knife?
A knife in itself is an offensive weapon if you have it in a public place. So in this country, if you walk out onto the street and you've got a knife in your pocket, that is an offence. If you've got it at home, that's fine. If you need it to cut
But
your
if
vegetables.
I go to the shop and I bought a knife and on my way home,
Yeah.
and I put that in my bag or something on my way home,
Yeah.
Well,
I get stopped by the police.
that would come under the defences.
Defence, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a reasonable excuse or lawful authority. So if you have a reasonable excuse, such as I just bought this from the shop and I put it in my bag, my only intention was to bring it home, I need it at home for cooking, then that would be a reasonable excuse.
And
maybe a reasonable excuse.
Reasonable excuse is taken on the objective side of things, basically.
Yeah.
It basically defined as what would a reasonable person describe as a reasonable excuse, basically. A reasonable man in the street, basically, described as a reasonable excuse.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's not subjective. It's not what that particular individual who possessed the knife think is a reasonable excuse, basically. Okay. It's what the court would decide as to what a reasonable person would see as a reasonable excuse, basically.
Okay.
Do you see my point?
Yeah.
So it's definitely an objective test.
Are there some other offensive weapons aside from those ones?
Well, people are
guns.
Don't forget one of the elements of an offensive weapon could be adapting something as well. You see
what is adapting?
Adapting is when you break this, for example.
Okay.
Put a nail through it.
Okay.
You want to use that to hurt somebody, for example, and that means you've adapted it to cause
injury.
Yeah. Simple possession of it basically constitutes an offence.
Okay.
And you'll be taken to the police station and you'll be interviewed basically on the caution.
Okay. Yeah. If we find somebody out there who's being charged under this kind of a law, what do you think such a person should do?
Well, they should always ensure that they get a solicitor at the police station. They must get a solicitor at the police station. The biggest mistake most defendants, I'm sure you had this as well, do basically is not getting a solicitor at the interview, or not asking for a solicitor at the interview, because there's what's called a duty solicitor scheme, and you can actually ask the police officers for an independent solicitor.
And this is free.
It's free of charge. It's free of
you
charge
can have
as
a
well.
solicitor at the police station. They will come down to the police station, represent you for free.
Government solicitor.
Yes,
absolutely.
But technically, they say government solicitor, but they're mostly people from solicitors' firms. If you see what I'm saying. Like for example, I'm a duty solicitor, and I work in a private firm.
Okay.
Do you see? But I'm registered with the Legal Services Commission.
Okay.
Yeah, to be there on a rota basis. For people who haven't got their own solicitors, basically. And most criminal solicitors out there are the same as well. You know?
But who are those people that can have access to this kind of services? Let me come to you, Anita.
Anybody arrested for a criminal offence in the police station, they have a right to speak to a solicitor on the phone or in person. So anybody arrested for a criminal offence, they have a right to legal advice. If you're arrested for example, possession of an offensive weapon, be arrested at the police station, you can call for a solicitor, they'll come down, represent you, advise you on the law, procedure, represent you during the police interview, and there's no fee for that.
Up to what level will such service go?
All levels.
All levels. I mean, up to
at the police station
to murder.
Not this. What I'm trying to say. When I get a solicitor off the counter at the police station,
right?
Yeah, and if it gets to a certain level, probably will I be required to make some payment?
No, you won't be. No. But it depends. I mean, some people actually, especially very rich clients, if I can put it that way, they sometimes decide to pay a solicitor. They think to themselves, oh, if I pay for it, I might get a better service. But I mean, the duty solicitor scheme, to become a duty solicitor, you have to go through rigorous tests to establish that you know the law and you know what you're doing effectively. So it's more than likely that anyone who uses the services of a duty solicitor at the police station will get a decent solicitor, basically.
If you're arrested for a non-imprisonable offence, a very, very minor offence, perhaps.
Such as?
I mean, all offences are serious in every way, but drink driving or public order offences, that may just attract some telephone.
Assault?
Assaults, yes, you can have a duty solicitor at the station in person. That's an imprisonable offence, but some offences are non-imprisonable, and you may just have access to telephone advice over the phone from a solicitor if there's. So that's for minor offences. But in all offences, yes, you can either speak to a solicitor free of charge or have a solicitor at the station.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, if along the line, when the situation happens, a client decides to, an accused decides to probably at that instance request the service of a solicitor of the police counter, then after some time decided, no, I don't think I want this solicitor, and decides to go for a private solicitor. Is that allowed? Chima?
Yeah.